We are here in the community shop in Huby, and Terry will explain us a little bit about this special shop.
Right, yes. Well, we opened the shop, the community opened the shop 11 years ago. It had been run for about 25 years by a couple as a private enterprise. In the UK, most villages always used to have shops, but over the years, many of those have closed as it became more difficult. And I know the people who used to run the shop were getting on and were getting ready to retire. And then, unfortunately, the lady in the couple got very ill and died, actually. And her husband couldn't manage on his own. So she wanted the community to take over the shop. So we worked with the family, and a few months after she died, we had a public meeting, which was very well attended, for people both in Huby and in our neighbouring village, Sutton-on-the-Forest. And people decided, yes, it would be a great idea for the community to take over the shop. So we set up a steering group and met every week for about 3 months. We got all the information we needed together. We put a business plan together. We decided how we might run the shop. We did have some help and advice from other people who'd done similar things before. But we also had a super group of people on the committee who knew a lot about small businesses.
Okay.
And one or two people who actually knew about running shops, which was quite good. And so we had to raise some money to buy the business from the owner, and then to do a few things to make the shop a bit more the way we wanted it to look, because they hadn't done any work in the shop for a long time. And so we did, and we did this in two ways. We asked people to make donations, but we also sold bonds. So we promised people that within 4 years we would give them their money back with a 4% interest rate, which was very good at the time because interest rates were still very, very low. And we raised, within a few weeks, we raised £50,000
Wow,
from the community.
that's a big support.
It was fantastic support, actually. People were really excited about the idea. So we bought the shop, set up a new community interest company, and sold shares in the shop, which don't entitle you to anything except a vote at the annual general meeting. But people had to pay £20 to become a member of the shop. But you didn't have to shop here. It was just, we needed a bit more money. And we opened within 4 months of that first meeting.
Wow, 4 months.
4 months. It was quite busy and quite exciting.
Yeah.
Everybody helped. I mean, it was just wonderful. We recruited volunteers because we had decided, as part of the planning, that it was going to be a completely volunteer-run organization. So we have a management committee of volunteers. We now have approximately 60 volunteers who staff the shop every week. We also negotiated with the post office to take over the post office business. Now that we do employ some people to run the post office, because there's a lot of financial rules and regulations you have to follow, which is difficult for volunteers to do. So we pay people to do that. And we also employ at the weekend young people from the village to help staff the shop, because it can be hard to get enough volunteers in a weekend. And Saturdays in particular are very busy. So, but other than that, everybody involved in the shop is a volunteer and do it for love, really. And it's great because the community has been so supportive and so grateful. And they're very patient with us when sometimes we're a little slow on the till or recognize that we don't have everything that you can buy in the supermarket because we don't have the room to do that. We try to stock a lot of things from local suppliers, so they're very good quality. So we have a mixture. It's basically food and household items, but we have a mixture of everyday items that you need to make a dinner, but also some higher end, more quality items that are a bit more specialist. So we have a mixture of things to meet different needs within the community. One of our standout moments was during COVID, because obviously in the UK, people were not allowed to travel more than a couple miles from their homes. And many of the big shops had to even shut or weren't operating properly. And so within a couple of days from the announcement of lockdown, we had recruited a new team of volunteers to support people who couldn't go out at all because they were too ill or too elderly, and who would get their shopping for them. And also a whole new set of volunteers to run the shop, because so many of our volunteers were older people who were advised not to go out in public. So it was pretty impressive. And people queued up down the street to come to the shop during that period, and we're so grateful. You know, we stocked everything they needed, and we went to great lengths to do it. You know, we couldn't get things we couldn't get, like regular size bags of pasta or rice. Well, our team bought gigantic bags and repackaged them themselves, so that we always had stuff like that, whereas the supermarkets didn't, because you just couldn't get hold of them. We had to find new suppliers because some of them went out of business. It was a challenging but very satisfying time, and it meant a lot more people in the villages found out about what we did and came in and used the shop. And even after lockdown finished, they carried on coming in, and it's just been fantastic.
Yeah, I can see in the background it's really busy.
I know, and this is the afternoon, which is a quiet time. So, you know, yeah, we have a very good turnover. The business is successful. And our volunteers love working here because it's fun, it's sociable. You get to meet people, you get to see your neighbors. Our ethos is that when people come in, we always have a chat and, you know, make them feel welcome and provide whatever assistance we can. So it's a really good community venture, I think. We were renting our shop from the person who used to own it, and he lived next door in a house. And eventually we persuaded him that he wanted to move and sell us the whole shop. So we worked with our local parish council, who agreed to buy the premises and take out a government loan to get a 50-year mortgage on it. And so we now rent from the parish council. We raised several £100,000 to convert the house into the shop you see today. And our original shop has now become our stock room. So it's much bigger, much nicer.
It's bright.
It's bright. It's a really lovely environment to work in and to use as for shopping. And we do have people who this is where they do all their shopping. For most people, it's stuff they need when they're, you know, in between supermarket shops. But we do have some people, and this is where they come. We've tried to keep our prices as reasonable as we can. Obviously,
and it's possible because you don't have to pay for a manager or
exactly
a lot of things.
No manager, no staff costs other than the post office.
It's not the goal of this shop to make a profit of this.
You have to make a bit of a profit, because you have to pay for overheads and you know, repairs to the building and things like that. And ultimately, once we're established in this new shop, we hope to begin giving a share of our profits to local community groups. That will happen within the next 2 years, I think. So that means they can apply for a grant and we can help. So that's the next stage of our development. So we finished this existing shop 2 years ago, and it's just gone from strength to strength, and we love it. And everybody loves it. We have our little place. We have a coffee machine, which makes quite nice coffee and very good hot chocolate.
Yeah, that's right.
And people can sit here and have a drink and read the newspaper, or chat with their friends or whatever they want. We also in the summer have seating outside, so we often get people who are cyclists or people passing, or families. We've had people come and buy a whole box of ice creams and sit outside and eat them as a family. It's really sociable and really quite nice. So yeah, that's kind of the story of where we are and how we got here. We also have a local woman who makes baked goods that are very popular.
They are looking so good.
And we have a local supplier of meat as well, which is very good quality and good prices.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. We're taking a good. Yeah, please. As we have 60 volunteers, that could be a challenge, and we're open from 8 in the morning until 6 at night, 5 days a week, and mornings at the weekend. So it's a lot of hours to cover. And we need to have at least one volunteer for each hour we're open. And so what we use is an online rota management system that is run by a small community group, which is itself made up of volunteers, which is quite wonderful. And it works really, really well. You can, in addition to managing the rota, it gives you a complete list of all your volunteers and their details. You can upload documents to it. You can announce events and give news to people. It's a really, really good system. It's very low cost. And our volunteers have adapted to it extremely well. So we're really pleased with it, but it makes it relatively easy because some people have fixed shifts where they come in every week at the same time, and then other people just float and cover any gaps in the rota. And we really need both kinds of people because even people who come every day or every week at the same time get sick, have holidays, for whatever reason can't come. So it really is important that we have people who can just cover as and when it suits them. So it works for both the volunteers and the shop, actually. People usually volunteer for maybe 2 hours at a time, sometimes a little longer, sometimes just an hour if they're filling a gap. It really depends. But it works extremely well. It's astonishing sometimes. And if we're short on cover, we put out an email to the volunteers and say, okay, we still don't have anyone to work these hours. Can anybody help? And inevitably, they get filled. We have a really remarkable, dedicated team of people involved. Lots of different types of people, different ages, although most of them are older, but not all of them. And it works extremely well. Another thing that was important when we redeveloped the shop was to ensure that it was accessible to everyone in the community. So we now are fully accessible for wheelchairs, for children's buggies, baby buggies. We also have a fully accessible toilet and bathroom that people can use. So it's much better than what we had before, where we had steps up to the shop and you couldn't get in easily. So this has been really important. So we're pleased about that, and it's well used.
That's good. Thank you.